What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 137. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez, live from Los Angeles.
Yeah, look at me, Los Angeles, from this white wall. Big thanks to Jimmy Tran for putting me up for a couple of days. Good buddy of mine.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Brian Manjoma.
Hey, guys, what's good?
And Adam Vale.
What's up?
All right, so Brett will join us later. He's seeing Wonder Woman. So hopefully he'll like it as much as I do. Very good movie, right? Man, he's speaking about background noise. You guys hear the airplane back there? New York, baby. Anyway, so tonight is our see, good microphones. They cancel that shit out. Like you got, Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So tonight is our big E3 special, man. Like you guys have been asking us for our E3 predictions like almost for 2 months now. I was like, guys, come on. Now is the time to do that shit. And I don't feel like wasting any time. So let's jump right into it, man. First one who's going to be having a big conference this year is, let me get the props here, Microsoft's, the Xbox, right? So this year they're going to have a little something still called Project Scorpio, and which I speculate will still be called Xbox Scorpio. But they're going to be their big thing. But my question is, what about the games? We'll talk about Scorpio later on, but I want to talk about like what possible games could they have at this thing? Because I'm like, okay, they got Forza, they got maybe Sea of Thieves.
Splinter Cell.
Man, I don't know what else they got, man.
Splinter Cell.
But that won't be exclusive, though.
I think it will be. I think it will be because remember that's how it first launched.
Wait, what's going to be exclusive?
Splinter Cell. Sam Fisher. Remember that was their answer to Metal Gear.
Sure,
So,
but that.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but the dynamic has changed. PS4 is dominating this generation. Ubisoft would be stupid to lock it to Xbox or Scorpio. It's not even out.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I think they would try to do something.
Ubisoft, I don't think Ubisoft's in the exclusive business anymore. You know what I mean?
They might do a time exclusive. I could see a time exclusive.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Splinter Cell would be nice. I mean, we'll get to that later. What we want to see, but what do you think we'll see at this thing? Again, I don't really know.
I think they're going to show Crackdown. I really think
show Crackdown.
Yeah, they're going to have Crackdown 3 done. The pipe dream that was us watching that at 2014 with all the cloud stuff and now this thing that they've made, Scorpio, will probably be able to actually will realize what they wanted to do in Crackdown back then, minus the cloud nonsense.
With the destructible environments and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think they're going to show, and they're probably going to show a lot of it. They're probably going to really focus on that game. Scalebound is gone, Fable is gone. I think the Halo that they might bring out might be similar to ODST. Like, it's not a full Halo 6, but it's going to be some kind of mid-story thing. So because they can't do a Halo Wars or anything like that, like nobody's gonna buy into that. It has to be a Halo game, but it's gonna be kind of a mid-tier game, kind of like ODST, heavily on the multiplayer, a little bit of story, and about some other Spartan squad or something. I don't know.
The other Spartan squad.
Yeah, the again, because you can't trust anything. There's there was an image out, like it was German, right? It was like Halo Wunderbar, whatever the fuck it was, and it translates to like Halo Graveland. So I believe, just like Chris, we're gonna get a Halo game. We're not gonna get Halo 6, but a Halo game will be shown, and it may just be a side story. I definitely could see that happening because, again, you got Scorpio coming. You need some shit on that,
You think they're going to go back? You don't think they're going to go back down the road with Spartan Lock, are they?
Who knows? Maybe a Spartan Lock solo game.
And sell units.
I don't think he's going to come back in a main game. Well, he may, but not as a main guy. Maybe he'll get his own game. Who knows?
What if it was an Arbiter game?
Then wasn't a Halo 2 kind of?
No, what if it was a full Arbiter game? Would people be opposed to that?
I don't know. I don't know if he could carry a game like by himself. But Reach did very well, and that didn't have Chief at all in there. It was just the other Spartans, and that worked. But then again, that was Bungie doing that.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to my man Paul Amadeus Lane in the chat right now. And we'll see you in a couple of days, brother. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, obviously, we got the Forza. Sea of Thieves already got like delayed to next year, didn't it? I think officially.
Yeah, I think so. So they could still show some stuff though. They have to.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
quick correction. Phantom Vash, thank you for that. He goes, Ubisoft is actually doing an exclusive game for Nintendo, the Mario Rabbids thing. So maybe, but still, some like Splinter Cell, I don't see that shit being fucking exclusive.
Yeah.
Too big. You know.
Well, the funny thing is that
I
those
don't know, man.
rabbits,
Money talks. Money talks.
the funny thing is that those rabbits have been on every Nintendo console so far.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a Rabbids game on anything else.
Yeah, they are kind of like exclusive to Nintendo. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, Vishal says that they're making a platformer for Microsoft. You know what platformer isn't coming to Microsoft? Fucking Bubsy.
Oh,
I can't believe they're bringing Bubsy back. Somebody was like, "What year is this?" They got Mario, they got fucking Crash, and they got Bubsy. What the hell's going on?
Nobody gave a shit about Bubsy.
no,
yeah. I guess that's a good time to reboot him, right? The character that people knew but didn't care about.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny. This is the stupid prediction show. It's like I don't know what Microsoft's going to be having.
I mean, in a sense, that's actually kind of a good thing.
That is true. Yeah, they could only go up from here. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about Scorpio, man. What do you guys think we're gonna finally see? I think we're gonna get to actually see the system because you guys are running around with that fucking chip. You know, it's like. You can't play a chip, so I'm expecting a console, and I am sticking to my prediction of $500, but this is going to sound crazy. I could actually see Microsoft going, fuck it, we're going to release this thing for $400 and take a hit. I could actually see that happening. I still think they're going to go with 500, but I could see them going for 400, just to compete.
I could see the 400, and then they partner up besides with their own Microsoft store, but with like Best Buy or GameStop to do a trade-in, some kind of trade-in deal. Like we're guarantee we're gonna take it regardless of your condition of it. We'll take your Xbox One, or the One S or whatever, and we'll put that money toward getting a Scorpio. I could see that.
Yeah, has anybody ever done anything like that before?
Yeah, they've done the trade-in.
Stores have done it.
Yeah, stores have done it, but I mean they're gonna do it like no questions asked.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I've never seen anything on that scale, but it's possible. As a matter of fact, that's how they could potentially get away with a $500 console. Hey, it's $400 if you trade in the system.
That's true. Yeah,
they get away with that. But Chris, I'm going to you with this one. Do you think the Scorpio will be, as powerful as that, Microsoft is claiming it to be? Now the new slogan was like the best place to play games and the best place for developers to make games. I'm like, I thought that was PC, but that's what Microsoft is saying.
Well, you remember because I showed you that thing in the
you
chat.
showed me that. I'm like, really? Okay, sure.
Yeah,
what do you think, man? You think at this E3 we're finally gonna really get to see what this thing's all about?
Yeah. I mean, for the best representation of any hardware is from the party that makes it, right? Like that's on Microsoft's shoulders to show not just developers but us exactly what it can do, right? So you got 12 gigs of RAM in this thing, and you increased the bus speed, and you did all these optimizations. You got this chip, and okay, so now the onus is on you to show us what it can do. And really, if it's as good as you say it is, then I don't see developers really focusing on Xbox One anymore. They're gonna focus all of it on this thing, right? They have way more leeway, way more power to work with. You'll get sliders in the beginning, and then you're gonna get nothing. But I think they will. As far as their lowered expectations, this is not going to be 4K unrestricted or whatever they said before. Like, that's not possible. But
uncompromised.
Uncompromised. Yeah, no. There's plenty of compromises, but they did cater to developers. I saw that when in the Digital Foundry review of that, and I think they listened to them and they did all the things they wanted. So in terms of saying that it's the best place for developers, but they listened to them. They actually catered the box around them. It was from the dev side up, not hardware down, right? Usually consoles are made and they make their APIs and stuff, and they go, here, developers, go nuts, right? But they don't listen to the devs, right? The devs don't guide the hardware. The devs have to adapt to the hardware, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo's notorious for that. Sony has done that mostly, except for now. I think this generation, PS4, is when they listen to them. But PS3 and before, they never did that.
Yeah, they didn't listen to him.
Yeah, and so Microsoft has gone back now that everybody's off of Power PC bullshit. They actually listen to them, and so this time around, so it'll be interesting to see what they make. So, and as long as they don't just demo Forza, right? Because that to me is like a cop out 4K.
Yeah, it's
So
like,
look
come
how
on, it's a
good-
racing game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they need to show that Halo. They need to show Crackdown, and Crackdown had better run like they showed in 2014, but without cloud bullshit. Scorpio should just be able to run that game as they advertised without needing that cloud nonsense. It should just run on Scorpio as is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I think Brett's joining us. It looks like a horror movie from what I'm looking at here. What's going on, Brett?
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm on my way home from Wonder Woman, and I wanted to jump on my cell phone while I'm still driving home, so I didn't miss too much. So, hey, everybody. You know,
Hey, man, you actually made it at a pretty good time. So, Brett, what do you think Microsoft's going to be showing at their E3 press conference?
honestly, I think their E3 press conference is going to be more focused towards hardware, and while that hasn't necessarily been a huge success for them lately, you know, their Scorpio being the most powerful hardware on the market is going to be, at least in my opinion, their main push. Personally, I'm expecting E3 across the board to be a little bit weak this year. I expect, you know, Microsoft to push with their Scorpio. I predict Sony to kind of downplay their upgraded system because Scorpio does out for them, and I expect Nintendo to kind of disappoint us all. So, in that, I kind of expect the real focus to be on Scorpio. And really the extra power that it can push. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be pushing games real hard on anybody's side this year.
Yeah, what I find interesting is they said that, because usually their press conferences are 90 minutes. They said this conference is going to be longer than 90 minutes. So what are they going to be showing? Like, that's what I wanted, because I was thinking like, okay, is this thing going to be just like an hour and like 45 minutes of it are going to be Scorpio and then a couple of games? But if it's going to be almost 2 hours, what the fuck could they be showing?
I think they're going to showcase their games on Scorpio. I don't know if we're going to get a whole lot of new game announcements. And they'll probably be showcasing a lot of multi-plats. And that'll be my guess, is they're showcasing the power upgrade on Scorpio with the use of multi-plats, because they're really going to be pushing the narrative that not only does this play Xbox exclusives better, but it's going to play your average everyday game better. So they're pushing for the crowd that are buying the multi-plats. So like maybe and there's a couple games I'm expecting to kind of hear about. Shadow Mordor 2 is going to be one of them. So you could be, you know, they could show you the power increase with Dad of War or with Shadows of Mordor or something like that. I don't know that. And of course, fucking Forza will almost definitely have some kind of showing on like, look what the Scorpio does to Forza, because that's a mainline franchise. But I don't know that they're necessarily going to be like, and look at our brand new IP. They're going to focus more on, here's the games you're excited about, and this is why they're better on the Scorpio.
Yeah, no, I can see that. It's like, hey, look at Shadow of War on our system. And by the way, Shadow of War was the first game actually announced for Scorpio, right? And there is an exclusivity deal with that game. So we're going to see that fucking game on Scorpio for sure. You know, very, very interesting. But here's the thing, you know, kind of going off track, but not too much. On the actual show floor, I don't think we're going to be playing it like we were talking about this before the show. I don't think people are going to actually be playing the actual Scorpio. We're going to be playing Scorpio games, but they're going to be on PC. So what are people reporting they're going to actually be able to take away from the games they do play? Because the games they're going to be playing are just going to be approximating the Scorpio. They're not going to be the actual Scorpio. You know,
they've never been that way. Like, you know, last year when we were looking at a bunch of games, like, you know, they had Xbox controllers sitting there, but they really weren't. There was no Xboxes inside of there.
Yeah, and remember that it went the other way around too. When we went to our first E3, right, we're playing a bunch of PS4 games. No, they were on PC. You know,
They were on PC or they were running them through like a network. At least from what the guy, I actually talked to the guy and be like, "Those PlayStations on there, those aren't real." And he's like, "Yeah, those things are just like the shells of them." He's like, "We have this big server in the back that we run all the demos to this from."
interesting.
So here's my question. That actually seems to have been brought more into the public like the last couple of years. A few years ago, while it was talked about, it wasn't really common knowledge. And now these days, everybody knows that they're probably running these games on a PC. So wouldn't it be actually really advantageous for Microsoft to play everything above the board and obviously have these running off of Scorpios? I mean, if they really want to push the power of the system, they're going to have to be somewhat transparent in that this is what's pushing this game, right? So I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm saying it would be very, very smart if they let people get their hands on Scorpio.
I think they will.
What's that?
I think they will. I agree with you. I think they're going to have some Scorpios there and have some people play it. I think that's going to be the wow factor because everyone's not expecting it, And the fact that they decided that they wanted to push things up and have a Sunday presentation, I think they want to do it. And just like what we just said, if 2 hours, that's pretty long. They have to have something.
Here's the thing, but I don't think in general that we're on the show floor you're actually going to be playing Scorpios inside of those consoles like they usually do. Most of those things are running off of PCs anyway, so they're just going to do that and just have a little placebo box and say, "Hey, look, it's playing from there."
Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll have a harder time getting away from it this time because their whole message is.
Who's to say that they aren't on there? Unless me and Tony decide to open up the door underneath the freaking Xbox.
Yeah, but all they'll say is like, "Oh, these are spec like the dev kit," so it's equivalent. That's all they're.
That would be pretty funny. It's like, "Yo, Manny, watch my back." Open up the little cabinet.
I don't know. Am I wrong in assuming that it's been more widely recognized that games are running on PCs and not the actual boxes? I mean, that seemed like something I saw several articles about the year before last and last year. It seemed to kind of be widely disseminated information.
Yeah, it's pretty common now. Everybody knows that.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. With everybody knowing that, is Microsoft not putting actual Scorpio boxes out going to pass this year? I mean, they're selling you in this idea on this fairy tale. They need to make it manifest.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Yep. It's going to pass purely because people don't care.
Yeah.
Like people don't want to know about that. They just want to see how the games look, and they just believe the lies that Microsoft and Sony tell. So it's like, oh, it's on the press conference, so it must be running on the console. It's like,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about having an actual console in there. You run the risk of the stations going bad. You don't want a station on the show floor to just all of a sudden go bad. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever, like, some people that worked at like GameStop and stuff like that have always reported that the PlayStations and the Xboxes eventually overheat and die, so they just sit there. So for you to have that something like that happen on the show floor, that's not a good showing.
Yeah.
To be honest, they want to show the games in the best condition they can.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like at this point, everybody, between Rise and their past missteps, I think everybody's going to be critically looking for. Like, I'll be very disappointed if I don't see a Scorpio system actually running there, because that's one of the big things. Because just like you said, if they can't get a brand new system that is already rolling off manufacturing lines in its finished state, if they can't get those things to run in a public setting without breaking down for 3 days, then that speaks very badly for their system. And I understand that this is very normal practice, but at the same time, the release for the Scorpio is it's pretty much it's done. The manufacturing is done. These aren't dev kits. They should be able to roll off production units and get them.
I have a theory. All right, I could be wrong, but this is my theory. I don't think you're going to have actual Scorpios at E3, but Microsoft did announce that they're going to be at, and they rarely do this, right? They're going to be at both Tokyo Game Show and Gamescom, right? I think since it's going to be closer to the release date, those are going to have actual Scorpios. I think the shit at E3 probably won't be the finished one because they're still too far out. But Tokyo Game Show, especially Tokyo Game Show, that's in September. That's going to have the real deal. I guarantee that.
here's your other concern too, and this happened at CS. Like if you put production Scorpios out in there and in a console that isn't coming out for months, you exponentially increase the risk of somebody trying to boost it, and it will happen. CES, that Razer laptop got stolen, that crazy one. Yeah, somebody got it out of there. So that can happen with the Scorpio. So you more likely want a dev kit or a PC equivalent, right, to demo it right now.
And this
Just
is the
to
first year that
reverse.
fans are going to get to go. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll talk about that later on. But you guys want to say anything else about Microsoft?
No, I think we're
good.
Fix that interface, man.
Shit, right?
No, it's true. The whole line, the user interface is horrible.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on to the next one. Sony, right? This year, I'm gonna just flat out say it. I kind of expect, even though I know they're gonna show some new stuff, I kind of expect the HD remix of 2016, right? You're gonna get God of War, you're gonna get fucking Days Gone, you're gonna get Spider-Man, and whatever, no Death Stranding. They already said that's not gonna happen. But I predict gameplay of these games actually, instead of just like little CG whatevers and stuff.
Well, God of War was not CG.
Yeah, that's true. It was like in game.
Neither was Days Gone, so
yeah, but Spider-Man was. But you know what I mean, actual gameplay. So I expect that. I also expect. What happened?
What was that crazy zombie game that they showed a little bit of
Days Gone. Days
Gone. Yeah.
But yeah, I expect Red Dead Redemption 2 to be shown. I think that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That's going to happen.
That and whatever exclusive content.
You think that'll be a Sony thing?
They already announced it. It's going to be a Sony thing. It's not
okay.
exclusive. It's a marketing. They have the marketing rights. They already said that. Sony, they're gonna. By the way, they're gonna show all those fucking games too. Destiny, Battlefront. What else am I missing? There's a ton of third-party games that are like have the marketing rights. So you're gonna see all that shit at the Sony show. So it's gonna be pretty jam-packed. A lot people are expecting a lot, especially considering what happened last year, and also this year Sony's going to be having it at going to be showing it at movie theaters. So I fully expect that orchestra to show up again. It's like last time.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was amazing. And I also predict a release date for God of War, which will be in March of 2018. That's not much of a stretch because every God of War game comes out in March, but that's what I think is going to happen.
I'm supposed to hear something about the new Final Fantasy again.
Yeah, remake, right?
Yeah, so we'll hear something about the Final Fantasy remake on the PlayStation side, and then I think we'll hear something on the Switch side, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, so yeah, Final Fantasy, that's probably going to be shown. Maybe, I think they're going to show it, but they could also not show it. Shenmue, I don't think we're going to get anything from Shenmue. I think they said the game's going to get delayed again. I'm like,
wow. We can get an update on Shenmue at least.
Yeah,
they've been giving regular updates.
But are they like?
They just say it got delayed. They said,
yeah, that's the update. It got delayed.
So was an update? No, I mean every month they give a pretty much progress reports on it. So they've shown they're like, okay, we've done with the design, the full design of the game. Now we're actually building it. Now we're doing this. So they're doing it.
Yeah, but I don't expect too much time to be spent on Shenmue. What else? I also expect a bunch of other remasters of some kind. Sony, they just released Crash Bandicoot, so maybe some older stuff.
They didn't release. They didn't release.
Well, yeah, that is true. Now, here's my question, right? Gotta ask this: how much of a presence will VR have? PlayStation VR. This is the first full year where the thing's already out.
I don't think I don't think much is gonna be put to it.
I don't know. I have a theory about this.
Go for it, man.
Hold on one second. Let me switch my inputs here.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't say they're not going to show it because.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, you sound better too.
Yeah. I put on a microphone. Okay, so as I've said before, and this is a problem that I think it happened to PlayStation. It's happening to Nintendo now. It's happened to Microsoft before. The launch of any kind of new tech requires a serious dev time turnaround. And one of the things that I'm noticing is we're finally seeing Farpoint come out. Now, we're probably it may be categorized as too little too late, but there is some interest in some of these games. And like Farpoint was kind of supposed to be one of those games alongside Resident Evil that it really helped showcase the ability of what VR could do. And I think it's still a bit of a stunted game. It's definitely kind of gimmicky in the sense that it's probably not the best shooter you've ever played, but you can point at things and you walk around and feel like you're actually shooting things. And they're also they just finally unveiled with Farpoint their gun controller. So I think you'll see at least a small lifeline tied to VR. I don't think they're going to completely abandon it, especially because Farpoint hasn't been abandoned. I've actually seen a few commercials about it, so they're at least looking to recoup some of the money that they've spent and sunk into this. So while I don't think they'll be coming out with a big fucking ticker tape parade on VR, I think they'll probably show some Farpoint off just in case anybody missed it, and in theory, hopefully let people know that there are still things being developed for the VR, because that's going to be very important for the continual selling of the headsets themselves. Because if you say, well, here's Farpoint, and then we may never release anything ever again, like that's not going to work. So you're going to have to say, here's Farpoint. We have some other VR titles in development, because I know Farpoint isn't the only VR title that they've been developing for the past couple years.
By the way,
we don't know a lot about it.
Farpoint's already out, by the way. You just got to throw that out there.
No, I know Farpoint's already out. It just they're going to try and push it to the spotlight a little bit. They've already been doing so with commercials, so they're actually caring enough about. And this is where I'm a little surprised. They cared enough about it to put commercials on. I would have thought they would have just released Farpoint silently and let it just melt away and die. But I've seen just as many Farpoint commercials as I have fucking Switch commercials, and those are pretty much the most prevalent video game commercials I'm catching, at least.
Interesting, because I haven't seen any of those. I haven't seen Switch.
I've not seen a Switch commercial.
I've not seen a single Switch
really
commercial.
I have seen a Switch commercial for every major release game. They had
a special land where you
have Switch available,
bro. You see Switch ads and kids running in the street with them. We don't see
that.
Dude,
am I the only one who watches Adult Swim?
Probably. I know I watched Toonami, but I don't watch it with.
You skip on.
Oh, dude, yeah, on Toonami. Yeah, I just saw an ad for ARMS on Toonami, and that it struck me as kind of funny because like Nintendo's marketing for whatever.
We're talking about Sony right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Farpoint. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't think they're definitely gonna have some VR stuff, but I think this is probably gonna be the last hurrah for PSVR, and then after that, you're probably not going to see any more of it after this year, But yeah, definitely they're going to show off Farpoint.
They're going to do a first-party push. They're going to try and let people know that it's not a dying system. It's being carried by the company to a certain point. There are other things in development for it. They want to try and get other companies interested in development of this, so they're going to promise to support it. And it may turn out to be too little, too late. Like I said, this could be the Vita all over again. But at least they're kind of trying to make an effort. Like, look, we're putting out commercials for it. We actually just put out a AAA game for it. That's probably the first real fucking VR game that we've actually gotten, other than a tiny little demo. So hopefully they're going to be, and it's going to be like inches and degrees, man. Like everybody's still kind of lukewarm to the reception of VR, and I think Farpoint hit this weird place where they finally introduced the last point of the ecosystem that you needed, which is the fucking gun. Because that's what everybody really honestly wants. And I know everyone's like, I don't want to put my controller in a big fucking gun, I just want to play with the gun. Like, no, you honestly want to play with the controller. We've all played this in the arcade. We've all wanted this to come home. Nobody wants to use the stupid wand things in a shooter game, and everybody wants to play a shooter game in VR. This is the realistic approach. So the fact that they're like still making accessories for it tells me that it may have one foot in the grave, but it's not quite dead yet. And I think that's going to be a point that Sony, it may not be a big point of their conference, but they will at least make a nod towards, hey, by the way, guys, VR isn't dead. Don't forget that. Oh, and we were developing a couple of things for it, and then all of our other stuff. So it won't be a big thing, but I think they'll at least have to acknowledge it and bring it up and let us know that there's something on the horizon.
Yeah, quickly, Fandavesh says that 3 of Sony's first-party studios are confirmed to be working on VR. Their London studio, Manchester studio, and Pixel Opus. 2 more are rumored: Media Molecule and maybe Santa Monica, plus second-party deals. So yeah, they still got stuff coming for VR.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be quiet forever. I mean, we just got done talking on the the last couple episodes about how key development time is damn near 5 years. If people started making a VR game as soon as they got the dev kits for this thing, they're just coming up on the like 2 to 3 year mark now, which is where we're going to see our first early iterations of fully fleshed games. So yeah, it was. Don't get me wrong. I was absolutely an early adopter, and so was everybody who bought the VR. I don't think that means it's dead.
Happened, Manny?
You were about to say Vita.
No, you said VR.
Yeah.
I almost said Vita. Yeah, no, I've been there too. I think everybody's calling the death of the headset a little early, and maybe I'm biased because I bought one and because I actually enjoy the few games that are available to it. I really wish I had more fucking games. Honestly, if they had more games, I would probably be more interested in upgrading to a PS Pro system. And I can't be the only person that's there. They have to know that there's untapped money there, and so they're at least going to have to make a minimal petty effort to not look like they're leaving those people out in the dark. And yeah, there are, you know, as we just heard, there's several companies working on VR games, but we've also seen this trend lately of not wanting to necessarily announce a game 3 years before it's released. So it would be very sensible that you're like, well, where the fuck is all the VR? It's still codenamed and being worked on and unreleased. Nobody knows. Yeah, so we may see 3 VR games and then the headset die. We may see 6 VR games and then the headset die. We may see a dozen games and the headset not die, but we'll at least see something.
Yeah, Chris, what do you predict, man? Sony.
Can just jump on, Brian? Because yeah, Brett. As much as I like you, and you can't guess where this is going to go, and as much as I agree with your arguments, I feel like you were arguing and you were going around like and making like the same points that pretty much everyone makes when new hardware comes out, which is pretty much the cycle of like Pride is coming out. They think that is going to be amazingly good. When it gets released, their expectations are brought back down to earth, and then they keep making the excuse of, "Oh, just give it more time. Devs need to learn it. Give it more time. Devs need to learn it."
Well, I absolutely am. I'm definitely rationalizing that excuse, but that's only because I don't think it's okay to use that as an excuse, like given how like the HTC Vive and the other one out for almost like a year prior. So it's kind of like if the good game. Oh, the Oculus is floundering. And the Vive, they're both floundering because they're not really having a lot of market base.
But I was talking about in making games for those platforms. Like if those games have already come out and there's already a decent amount of games available, then I don't think it's a fair excuse to say, "Oh, just wait until
there aren't. Oculus is being huge dicks about exclusivity deals. Almost no game available on the Oculus store you'll see anywhere else. They've been pulling an Apple, which has essentially shot themselves in the foot and pulled them out of the race for VR. Oculus is not going to be the winner of VR when all the dust settles. It is not going to fucking happen. Mark my words, remind yourself, come back and listen to this podcast. They will not be it. They've drugged their feet in the sands. They've let too many competitors catch up, and they've pinned themselves down with exclusivity deals trying to do what Apple did without having the strong arm options of Apple. Because you know what? They did patent the technology, but it's not as exclusive as everybody thought that it was, and everybody was able to copy it fairly easily because it was made from off-the-shelf parts. So yeah, they did, but Oculus was the first one to come to market, but even now the Vive is known as the more technical appropriate version. It is the higher end version, but it is still so far outside of the price point of most people that it hasn't gained mass appeal. The only thing that possibly has that is the PSVR. And I'm not giving it excuses. I'm just saying that I've been an early adopter. I've been a day one system buyer for 20 years. And there's just a certain point in which I've realized that this happens every fucking time with every fucking system. We were having this talk 2 years into the PS4's life cycle, and we were saying the same thing. People, why are we all only getting ports? Well, because it takes a while to develop for a new system. And so I think the moral of the story is, don't buy a system for the first year and a half that it's out. Wait until 2 years after it comes out, wait for the price to drop, and then have an awesome backlog of games that are going to be way cheaper. That's unless you care about getting your games right here, right now, because anything that you buy, you know, even down to the PS Pro and the Scorpio, like it's going to take a little while for every game to have Scorpio upgrading. It's going to be a few games here and a few games there for a couple of years. At least that's my opinion, and that may be an easier thing to do because you know we're just upscaling the graphics. But it's not like as soon as Scorpio hits, every game is going to be Scorpio upgrade compatible. I don't foresee that happening because it's again new technology. And people are going to bitch about it.
Well, then it's not new technology; it's the same technology. It's just more powerful. And
That's
I was saying that like this more powerful technology is like. It's still PC-like, so it's still the same architecture, and this might sound a bit arrogant, and people may get a bit annoyed at this, but developers should have an easy time making like Scorpio-enabled games or Pro-enabled games if they know how to make PC games.
Absolutely, 100%. I absolutely agree with you.
As to why some games like don't come out with like Pro, like Prey had no Pro support like day one, and I'm like,
because they didn't develop the assets for it in the beginning of the game,
and no, it just begs my mind. Like, okay, you have a PC, and the PC has like various type of configurations. There's bound to be one configuration that's approximately the same level as the Pro is. Why not just make that the Pro one? I don't know. It just begs my mind sometimes. Like.
It will. It's way easier to do that. So you're going to see. It's not going to be. I was probably mistaken. It's not going to be 2 years before you see these upgrades implemented. But games that are probably 60% of the way through their development cycle and they haven't necessarily developed the assets for this. I mean, there are games that aren't necessarily developed for PC. They're developed for console, and then later they put in the assets in order to bring them to PC. So if they're trying to land a console release and they don't necessarily have the assets developed, most likely they're just going to continue production until it ends, and then put while that game is selling and their developers have nothing to do, they'll work on polishing it up for a PC release, which is why you see some PC releases coming later and later after consoles. I think GTA is a pretty good example of that. That wasn't designed with PC in mind; it was designed with consoles in mind, and then they upgraded it, and even then, not really that well for PC. I find it hilarious that they spend a year polishing and upgrading a PC version only to have modders outdo them in the span of a week. Like every fucking time.
Let's get back on topic here. Actually, I do want to. This is something I do want to talk about though. Stephanie R in the comments is asking us, do you think Sony will show a new handheld? The reason she's asking us because a lot of rumors have been flying around about a possible either they're calling it the Vita 2 or a PSP 3. Because there's some leaked patents or whatever. I said this on Twitter, like, yo, if they release a new, I doubt it's gonna happen, but if they release that, I'll buy that shit day motherfucking
What?
I was literally just about to say,
Little John, what?
How was that surprising? I'll buy that day, mother. Chris, you're with me on that one too, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Okay, so let me just wrap my brain around this. The company that has bent you over and raped you lubeless with the last 2 handhelds, and then discarded you like a $2 whore.
What are you talking about? The PSP and Vita were fucking amazing.
Vita's still alive, man.
Yeah, not because of fucking Sony. Sony ditched that shit pretty much out of the gate.
The Vita, they did ditch it, but not out of the gate. What are you talking about? They ditched that shit like, what is it, a year or 2 afterwards? They didn't.
That's pretty much out of the gate. Come on.
And dude, out of the gate would be like 2 months later, bro. Come on now.
Oh, okay. It's funny how like Brett and I just went from like 2 opposing sides to just being like on the exact same level here. Because I was just about to say like, who would actually want to buy one given Sony's track record with the previous?
Well, like I said, I want one.
Just like,
Chris wants one. Manny wants one.
And then you guys just like,
here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying failure, but you know what? This supposed failure sold more than the Wii U, and it's also they're still making games for it. That's an interesting thing for a failure.
Like GTA 5 has sold more than the Wii U. Like
what? GTA 5 sold more than anything.
Compare a game to a fucking.
No, it's like
here's the thing. You know, again, it's like everybody keeps saying this word failure. But why are they still making these consoles? Why can you still buy one? Why can you still get games for the damn
exactly this shit? Yeah, come on now. People just want to hate. But yeah, again,
it's like it had a bad track record of supporting their devices. Like as a consumer, that like throws up a red flag. If like a company has the same track record for doing the same things to their devices, then that's like a red flag in my book. It's like, hey, I don't trust you to like, make it happen.
I gotta ask, why is Sony getting a pass here?
Why is Sony? How is Sony
getting a pass? It's simple. The PSP was fucking awesome. The Vita was fucking awesome. So I would like a successor. It's not that hard to be honest.
To be honest, how do we know that this thing isn't just going to be an upgraded version of the current of the PSP? In other words, essentially essentially the PSP Pro.
Yeah. So, Brett, what is this getting a pass thing? I want to go back to that. Who's getting a pass here? I'm like, okay, they just released 2 really good handhelds. If they release a third one, why not buy it? That's
okay. The quote unquote really good. Like, I understand you enjoyed it. It was not a critical success. They did not support. They did not support it for their entire life system twice. Both of them came out.
What are you talking about? They had original games on the PSP up until the end. What are you talking about? The Vita and the PSP are not the same thing, man. The PSP was supported up until the end, man. What the hell are you talking about?
And not to mention,
I was buying the PSP games when I had the Vita too. Come on, dude.
And not to mention that every single game that was on the library of the PSP also works on the PlayStation Vita. So, you still. I mean, okay, you want to say that there's no games or like it's all there.
You mean you could download them?
Yeah, you can download them. You can't use them, obviously.
Okay, well, we've gotten into heated arguments about rebuying games several times before. So I just want to point out, next time we get out on the whole like Nintendo's just porting a game from another system, blah blah blah. You motherfuckers bought a PSP game on the Vita because they wouldn't allow it. Like it wasn't backwards compatible. It was a virtual console. So let that fucking.
But there's a difference. UMD Media wasn't supported anymore, so there was a media difference.
You still had to buy it twice.
Yeah, but
I never bought it. I never bought a single one of those games twice, man.
There were DVD players in
please, can we just like not do like Nintendo conversations now?
Yeah, we're gonna get.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Can we just like not do this again?
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Nintendo part later on. But anyway, just to move the conversation forward, I don't see it happening. I think handhelds are they're dead basically, so I don't see it happening. But I would definitely support it. But so yeah, what do you get?
So at least for me, if it ended up being like the same sort of thing where like it's an upgrade of what we've had before, so it's like plays pretty much all the same games that it did before. Everything that you bought on the PlayStation Store, or runs your whatever those little flash cards from the previous generation, just with more shit on it. I would be down with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind replacing.
Well, here's where I think they could make this thing shine. You have more cross-play stuff, right? So this thing will have better cross-play compatibility with PS4. Also, this is the time now to lower the price of PS Now or merge it with PS Plus, and then have this thing fully on board with streaming.
They're not going to do that though.
They're not going to do that. But you gave me a good segue. Do you think we're going to get anything like new with regards to PS Now at this conference? Because I think they're not going to really do anything.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but Chris, overall, what do you think Sony's going to be showing? Come on, Chris, get in here.
What? I didn't hear you. Broke up.
Okay, just overall, what do you think Sony's going to be showing at their conference?
Oh, okay. God of War for sure. Last of Us 2 is going to be a big part of it. I think that we're going to see more story, or more teaser for that game. Days Gone, we're going to see more of that. I don't know if they're going to do like on the Pro, this game will do this. I think they might do that. I think Days Gone will definitely take more advantage of the Pro than anything else.
Yeah.
There's they're doing a lot of like retro games again. Isn't like Patapon coming back? And
yeah, that's right.
Parappa the Rapper came out. Like they're going back into the old nostalgia stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if like they try to get Twisted Metal back and all this stuff, or classic PlayStation stuff. So they may surprise us with some of that.
They bring back Loaded as a MOBA.
Or yeah, something like that.
I
They
like
can tell
Loaded.
MOBAs are all over the
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
right? That ain't a bad idea. Ain't a bad idea at all. So I think that they probably have a couple of nostalgia surprises in there. I was thinking Twisted Metal. That's what I'd like to see come back. But they could.
Well, they brought Twisted Metal back, and you saw how that went down.
Yeah. Well, give it another shot. We'll call that a mulligan and a do-over.
Yeah.
Call it a mulligan.
And what else? Let's say Spider-Man. They'll show a lot of that because the movie's out in July, so they're gonna hype the shit out of that. And that's all I can think of. I don't think this handheld is a real rumor.
Yeah, I don't think
I would
so
be
either.
heavily surprised if it was real. So I'm not counting on that. That wasn't part of my predictions. Actually, I was pretty shocked by the rumor.
Yeah, I was like, what? Okay. Handhelds are done, man. That shit ain't happen. Wait, by the way, talking about rumors, everybody's on this Bloodborne 2 rumor shit.
That I would welcome handily. That easily would be. I would be like, that'd be it for me. I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to watch anymore.
Yeah, even if Miyazaki isn't behind it, I don't think he would be.
That depends. I think he's not gonna do what he did with Dark Souls 2 and totally abandon it to like a side team and be like, I'm over here working on this, you guys work on that. I think after that, he's gonna at least have some oversight, but not be involved as he is deeply like the first Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3. Not directly directing it, but have some oversight, so it doesn't go off the rails.
Yeah, because everybody's thinking like, oh fuck, it's gonna be Dark Souls 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let that happen again. I could definitely see it happen.
Yeah. Fan of Vash goes, what do you think Sucker Punch's new game will be? I have absolutely no fucking idea. I don't know a damn thing.
No. It ride the nostalgia train, man. Sly Cooper, bring Sly Cooper back.
And didn't they have like a Sly Cooper 4 at some point?
Not by them.
No.
Brian, since you're talking, what do you expect from this conference?
Talk of God of War stuff. I'm in league with Tony. It's going to release within next year, so March makes sense. Again, with Spider-Man and Chris, what he said, so around the same time as the movie, well, at least within 6 months of it, makes sense. Maybe some announcement on GT Sports, since that's been
that's right.
So, and since it's coming out this year as well.
Delayed.
No. Do they have any RPGs in the first party lineup?
But they're fully loaded.
I don't think so. Not for just you saying Sony first party RPG is like maybe go wait. They have those?
Yeah, they did. Legend of Dragoon was the first party.
Yeah, that's right. But how long did that come out? The last one I remember is
one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The last one I remember, and I don't even know if it's a Sony one, was White Knight Chronicles, wasn't it?
That was
Ni no Kuni, that's right.
Okay,
Ni no Kuni, that's coming. Even I consider Ni no Kuni level 5, but sure, Well,
here's the thing. The
man, you look like videotape quality right now, man.
I mean, I can't do anything about that.
Go ahead.
I don't know what's going on, so
yeah. But anyway, you were saying.
So how's that now?
Yeah, you talk. I mean, you sound better at least.
So I would say, Rogue Galaxy was a Sony RPG.
Yeah,
as well.
again, that was a while ago.
I don't know that Sony's really focusing on RPGs right now.
Not really. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to I'm calling them the Throwdown Crickets right now. Those are some loud motherfuckers. I don't know who that's coming from.
I don't know. I hear crickets.
That's my bad. I can't mute right now. I'm sorry. We're having crickets for a moment.
I heard them last episode too. They were just as loud. So I don't know if it's you.
Oh.
I don't know. Who knows? But
it's not me.
Yeah, but Adam, what do you expect, man? Sony.
Oh, I don't really expect. I mean, this is always the case when one of these companies is in the lead, right? They don't really have to push as hard. They show what people are expecting to see. So I think a lot of what we already expect are going to be there. If anything, I would see some maybe some new changes that they plan on implementing into the system itself, the ecosystem. Maybe have some more events, or maybe like what we talked about with PS Now. Yeah, they have PS Now. Maybe they say, oh, we're going to sprinkle some of these games occasionally into Plus. So it not only will, maybe you'll see just the regular 2 games, but maybe you'll see one real, one of the games and then one from the PS Now. I have a feeling.
Do we? I have a question. Do we think that we're going to show any? These are 2 totally unrelated. One, do you think that we're going to see anything about a new Infamous? Like, is it time for that franchise to rear its head again? Because it kind of, it seems like it's been a couple years, and generally we get news about an Infamous game, and that's one of their more solid IPs. So it might be about time to hear something about that, right?
That's what I can see a collection. Yeah, I can see a collection.
I don't know, man. I like Infamous, but I think we're good. We don't need one right now. I'd rather see you come up with a new game. No,
I think they need to save the franchise. Personally, I think, and maybe it was just me. I think Infamous 3 was probably one of the less well received iterations of the game.
Second Son was.
Yeah, he is talking about that. But the thing is, okay, Second Son wasn't as well received as the others, but everybody really liked the DLC that came out afterwards. So it's not like the franchise is gonna die or anything,
No. What I'm saying though is the franchise was left in a precarious enough place that you don't want to put it on hiatus. Like It's great to go out on a high note, make like a great Infamous game, and be like, okay, we're giving this shit a break for 4 to 5 years because that's just gonna build hype. But they left on kind of a mediocre note, so I feel like it wouldn't necessarily be a good time to shelf it. I don't think the series is having series fatigue. Or if it is, I think if you put it into hibernation right now, that series fatigue could just turn to done with series for a lot of people. And 3 really, like 2 reached a core audience of ponies. 3 really broke out and hit a mass audience. So it would be really actually wise to hit while the iron is hot, put out a really great not Assassin's Creed, a really great game. And then take a break from the series for a while.
Yeah,
I want to see a new character too. I think that they would just do what they did with Assassin's Creed 3 and just abandon everything about 3 and possibly bring back Cole as either a hero or even possibly the villain. Like I could see Cole being the bad guy for number 4.
Maybe he'll finally be the Beast. That's what I thought he was going to be. But, that'd be cool. But yeah, and we'll see what Sucker Punch comes out with. All right, let's move on to Brett's favorite console, the Switch. All right, Nintendo. Okay, so we know about the whole Pokemon debacle. We'll get to that right now. But yeah, like Microsoft, there are also new hardware and stuff. But even though we know what's going on with the Switch, and the thing is, obviously, they're not going to have a presentation. They're going to have a Nintendo Direct, which apparently it's only going to be 30 minutes for the whole of E3. Only a 30 minutes. Hold on, let me finish. I got to set it up. Okay, so they're going to have the 30-minute Nintendo Direct. We don't know what's going to be in it, right? And then they're going to have the usual treehouse bullshit where they're going to show off a bunch of games, right? So what do you expect from Nintendo? Brett, I'll go to you first since you're chomping at the bit.
Actually, I was going to say when you brought up the length before I jump into the Nintendo stuff, I think the reason the Sony conference is going to be so long is because they're going to show off a series of games. And then after they show off those series of games, they'll then show those same games in Pro format. So they're not going to want to be like, here it is on the Pro. They're going to be like, here's God of War, and here's God of War on Pro.
To be fair, though, Sony never said they're going to have an extended conference. That's Microsoft that said
That's
that.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, no. Microsoft.
Just what you said with Pro and put Scorpio.
Yeah, with Scorpio. No, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, no, it's because they're the ones really pushing the hardware. I think that's why their conference is going to be longer, is because they're going to be directly showing you games and then upscaled games on top of that. So that's going to stretch out the length. So yeah, going on in Nintendo. What were you asking me? Which is what do I expect?
What do you expect them to show at that 30-minute Nintendo Direct? Not what you hope. What do you expect?
At this point, pretty much a whole lot of nothing.
Somebody sounds defeated.
I'm not as starry-eyed with Nintendo as everybody thinks. I've been surprised by their behaviors because, in my opinion, since the launch, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have been very un-Nintendo-like. They've with the Pokemon announcement, they seem to have swung backwards a little bit, which frustrates me. And they're not really.
Announcement?
What's that?
What's the Pokemon announcement?
No, they had a direct a couple days ago, and they announced Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which is a sequel to Sun and Moon. That's coming
Oh
on
no!
3DS.
It's so much worse than that. Hours before their press conference, they announced there was a new Pokemon game coming to Switch. And then when they started the conference, they pretty much came out and said, "Now we all know you love Pokemon, and we all know you have been waiting for a Pokemon on the Switch. So here it is!" Collective gasp in the room. Pokken Tournament, and everybody went, "Oh, what the fuck you!"
Oh, but see, Brett, they always did this.
No, I know they always do this. I know that they always do this. It was just one of those things. There were so many stars, pun intended, aligning here that they're talking about more assets in the original game that actually caused the original game on DS to bog down. And there's no real reason to develop higher quality assets unless you are thinking about or experimenting with an upgraded port to something else. In fact, people have run ROMs on the computer, and they said that this game looks beautiful in HD. But it runs like shit on the DS. So that led a lot of people to say, well, there's already the assets there. Then Monster Hunter 2, or excuse me, the new Monster Hunter just came out, and it's having a dual release with the DS and the Switch. So it was shown that it could obviously be done. And then they announced that there was a Pokemon game coming to Switch. So yes, we all should have been aware and watching out for the ass battery.
I told everyone that. I warned them. I said Pokemon Stars was a myth. Nobody believed me. Everybody got mad. But what happened? See, they cranky Konged you. That's what I'm going to call it. Every time they do this, they cranky Konged you. That's what they did. They hyped you up, and then they let that Hindenburg. They burned that shit right down.
Oh, they did. They absolutely. Well, and the thing was, they should have been clear. Like, there's no iteration of what went down that doesn't leave Nintendo looking like an asshole. Either they're very aware of what their fans want, and Game Freak is not letting them do it, which makes them look like a bitch. They're very aware of what fans want, and they're just not going to do it because they don't want to, which makes them an asshole, or they're not in touch with what their audience wants at all. Yeah. There is not a good option. There's not a good reason that you could even try and come to the defense of their actions. It was just kind of either an intentional dick move or an accidental dick move. But it was empirically a dick move.
Yeah, but they always do it. See, Manny calls it the rope-a-dope, but for them specifically, I'm going to call it cranky Konged. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's just when Nintendo does it, it's the Nintendo rope-a-dope. It's a cranky Konged. You've been cranky Konged.
Yeah, now the weird, and see, this is where I don't buy it. Like, my cynicism comes back, is like, they're like, we're going to be showing, they said that they're going to be showing unannounced games at E3. I don't buy that. Yeah. I don't believe that. They're going to be showing games that maybe they don't have a release date for. They're going to show you some Super Mario Odyssey. They're going to show you some fucking Splatoon. They're going to show you a couple ports. I imagine we'll hear something from Square-Enix, either on their side or Nintendo's side, because they seem to have thrown in their lot with Nintendo. And I know at the very least there's Re-Legend coming out, which probably isn't a game for a lot of our audience or even a lot of people on the show, but I know tons of people who are chomping at the bit for a new Animal Crossing or a new Harvest Moon. And this is basically that plus RPG quest mechanics and online multiplayer with your friends. So regardless of what people think about it, I think Re-Legends will actually be quite a big revenue builder for Square-Enix. I don't know if it'll be the greatest game to go down all the time, but it'll be one of those kind of cult classic games that's probably sort of an evergreen title. That even though it's not a big IP, it'll have people consistently buying it, and there will be a sequel. It'll be a successful franchise. So just knowing from how many people are like, I can't wait for the new Animal Crossing, like, Re-Legend will be something that gets talked about. And I know that there's been very little light shed on that, so I really expect that to be at least part of their conference. But I don't think they're going to drop anything groundbreaking or astounding, or anything like that at this point.
I think, and I'm pretty sure Chris will agree with me, I think the majority of that presentation is going to be 3DS games. Like, we've seen just this week alone, they're really doubling down on the 3DS thing. Anybody who thought they were going to abandon the 3DS to the Switch had another thing coming, man, because you had a ton of 3DS announcements this week, and you're going to get plenty more. So I expect maybe 10 minutes of that shit is going to be Switch. Yeah.
You're falling prey to the same actual logical fallacy that the Pokemon fans fell to, and that's that everybody was saying, oh, Pokemon's gonna be developed for the Switch, and all the conservatives were kind of sitting around being like, look, the system just came out. Game Freak would have to completely redesign their design process. They have said so as much. That may be one of the reasons you actually may never see it, is they've said several comments that are indicative of we've never made a mainline game for something this sophisticated before. We would have to have a completely different approach to building it, which sounds an awful lot like we're scared we'll fuck it up and we're kind of thinking about not doing it.
No, it just means oh, hey, we can't use the same old shitty assets that we were using before.
Yeah. But where's the logical fallacy here? That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Again, I'm seeing a bunch of 3DS games that have probably been in development for a while. That's why I think we're gonna get more 3DS games than fucking Switch games. At this point.
No, absolutely. It's the part where you say this is concrete proof that 3DS isn't dying, which I've been back and forth with a lot of people on this. It's like, no, of course the new Pokemon game is coming to the 3DS.
Proof. I'm saying it's proof that it's not dying anytime soon. It's gonna die. It has to. The thing is like gonna be 8 fucking years old. It has to die.
Oh yeah, you'll still see 3DS games at next year's E3.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah. So I thought I could have sworn you said it put to bed the idea that the 3DS was dying, and I'm
that's just stupid. That thing, the 3DS either needs to die or be upgraded. One or the other. That thing cannot fucking last.
Well, I think what Zealots were saying was that 3DS is going to die this year, which I was like, no,
it's not. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, they're going to prove that. Like Pikmin's coming out on it. One of the Monster Hunter stories. They showed that stuff at the last Direct, right? And now you got Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Atlas is dropping 3 fucking RPGs for that shit.
Dropping 3 RPGs. Square will probably have an RPG. That's all for the benefit of the 2DS XL, right? They wanted a new Pokemon on there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. They just came out with a fresh system. You can see this is the last shuddering gasp of the 3DS. And again, I'll mark it back to, remember they came out with a Micro after they came out with the DS. And everyone was like, me included, I was like, see, they're not going to get abandon the Game Boy Advance. They're still supporting it. Lo and behold, that was the last iteration. And this is kind of the same thing. They want to push their hardware sales. They want to push everything that's in development. They want to stick to the note that this is still a living, breathing system. And they will do so until the day that they, like a week before they announce that they're discontinuing the 3DS, they will make a press announcement saying that they have no plans to discontinue the 3DS.
They won't. They'll lie just like the Wii U. They won't tell you they're discontinuing it. If you think there's going to be an official press release that says the 3DS is dead, don't worry. It will silently die. That's how they do things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The Wii U was only announced because too many people were asking about it, and Kimishima lied way too close to when they were actually discontinuing it. So he got caught in that, and he had to say something. But the 3DS they'll just let it fade away. People will be like, hey, is there anything else coming out? No, okay, and that's it. They'll just move on.
Yeah, they'll blame it on developers. Like, well, a lot of our studios have decided to develop for the new, Ultra DS or hopefully the fucking Switch. If they do develop a new DS upgraded system, man, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I think that's that.
No, that would be stupid. But what they'll do is they won't say anything to us, but developers will. They'll go, hey, Nintendo cut off support for 3DS, so well. That's it.
Especially the indie developers, because Nintendo leaves them in the dust a lot.
Yeah. So they'll be like, "Hey, we were gonna make this game, but no support, so we're moving on to Switch later," and that's it. That's how we'll know.
Yeah, I got a crazy question. You think the 3DS possibly could have a 10-year life cycle? It's already on 7.
No,
yes.
I don't see them supporting it all for three more years.
You'll see a dead game come out 3 years from now. So technically, like it'll be like FIFA was on the PS2, like they're still making PS2 games this many years later. Like, oh yeah, like so you'll see like a couple stragglers, and so I think the very last game you'll see would be.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant Nintendo games being made 3 years from now.
No.
I'd say after 2018. That's the end of first-party support. But yeah, if guys are starting on 3DS games now, then they have no choice. They have to finish it.
You gotta commit.
Yeah.
And smaller studios with slower development teams, they're already fucking locked in financially. So
yeah, you can't just back out.
It'll turn from like a rush, like the faucet of DS games has been turned up. And now it's at a kind of like a slight roar, and it's going to be, go down to a stream, and then a trickle, and then a couple drops. and then that'll just kind of be the end of it. And they'll yeah, like Chris said, it'll silently be pushed to the background, and they'll push the new thing out in the foreground and be like, "Hey, everybody, look at this! Are you not developing for the DS anymore? We're developing for this." But so you're not developing for the old thing anymore. Well, we're developing for this because it has blank, blank, and blank, and then the developer will be like, "Yeah, they cut off our support."
Yeah.
That's exactly what will happen.
Yeah, but
So
anyway,
I think right now.
No,
I think right now, yeah, they're going to make a huge push for the DS because they're trying to convince people that it's not dead. And at the same time, tell me if I'm crazy here, there are a lot of tinfoil hats going around that basically says that Nintendo is probably scared to push a lot of Switch stuff because they're having supply issues and they don't want to exacerbate. Like, there's no way that they would announce a Pokemon at this point because you would not be able to get a Switch for another year and a half.
That's my conspiracy theory, actually. I said that the reason they didn't launch with Mario, which would have been a way bigger game than Zelda, is because they didn't have enough systems out there. That's why. So I could see where people are coming from, with that theory.
And that's why I brought up the commercials. Like, it's just about once a month I see a new Nintendo commercial. First it was that Zelda commercial that everybody saw with the fucking dude cooking breakfast playing Zelda somehow. And then I saw a bunch of Mario Kart game commercials. Now I'm seeing a bunch of ARMS commercials, and their marketing strategy is actually becoming very crystal clear. They're putting out like one frontline game every month to 2 months, gearing their marketing campaign towards that to kind of keep it in the public mind. And I don't think they're going to make a big push. Like, they don't have to announce anything early. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Like, you have a window of when you can announce things. Even if they had something, even if they were like, we're going to show a Smash Brothers port at this conference, like, they don't really have to. They can wait a few months and show it at Tokyo Game Show when hopefully they've sorted out at least some of their manufacturing issues. They could not want to put out big news that's going to increase demand for the Switch when people can't get it, because then they're just going to be frustrated. So I can definitely see them kind of staying quiet on the Switch side, showing enough to still be like, here's all the things you thought about. Let's keep the hype train rolling, but let's not put more steam behind it. Instead, let's really try and push the DS because we want to make our money on this. And even if we get people super excited for the Switch, it's not like we're going to make more money. We can't fucking sell them anymore because we're making them as fast as we can. So until they, and here's the big thing about it, like, yeah, there's the component shortages. I'm also pretty sure Nintendo is going to have to bite the bullet and buy a new manufacturing center. Whatever manufacturing system they have set up is not going to be able to keep up with the demand that they have. And I realize that's probably a big financial risk, but they're going to have to fucking do it. But I digress. This is all side tangent. What I'm doing is I'm supporting the idea that they will probably, yes, be DS focused this year. And my crackpot theory as to why they're not really worried about throwing out Switch news. Their advertisement, their marketing seems to be taking the course of slow and steady. Let's not push it. Let's squeeze every last blood out of this rock before we throw it away.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see more 3DS stuff. So, I hope you guys that are expecting wall-to-wall Switch games don't, lower your expectations, man. You're going to be a lot of 3DS shit.
So let me
3DS shit.
Let me ask Chris, what do you think they mean? And I hate it's ridiculous that with Nintendo we actually have to do this, but what do you think they mean when they say we will be announcing or showing several unannounced games at E3? Because normally that sounds like somebody saying like, would you like a cookie? Yes, I would like a cookie. But with Nintendo, you really have to unpackage what they mean, because Nintendo's like, would you like a cookie? And you're like, are they made yet? Have you made them? Do I have to make them? Are they real cookies, or are they filled with like Legos? Like, I don't there's so many questions here. So I'm actually directly to Chris. What do you think it means? What do you think they mean when they say we'll be showing several unannounced titles at E3?
They mean, when they say unannounced, that means they didn't announce them. That doesn't mean third parties didn't announce them, right? So that's their definition of unannounced. It's that they didn't say that game was coming. That doesn't mean Capcom can't say it or Square can't say it. So you gotta watch out for the language, right? So if you pay attention to Square, Capcom, to Monster Hunter or Bravely Default or whatever franchise, then you will know. So that's what they mean by unannounced, even though it's like, wait, no, Square announced that, but Nintendo didn't. So that's what they mean by unannounced.
Okay, yeah. So that makes a lot of sense, and with that in mind, we'll probably see absolutely nothing newsworthy from Nintendo.
Yeah, just like every year, basically. Every year is always so disappointing, but Nintendo fanboys always walk away saying, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever." I'm like,
Oh no, they'll put Splatoon 2 on the floor, and everybody will go fucking crazy.
Yeah, apparently they're gonna have Mario as well, on the show floor. We'll see about that.
So they'll keep the hype technically built. Like they won't let you forget that the Switch is a thing, but they're not going to build up its momentum anymore.
It's
There's
hard.
no reason to.
Like he said, they got supply issues, and I think they have supply issues because of supply of SSD parts and stuff. And I watched the WWDC. Apple is all in on their shit, so they're taking all of it.
Damn.
Like, hey, you see all these iPads and stuff? Yeah, we're taking all of that. Whatever China's got, we're taking it.
That's crazy. All right, any other Nintendo predictions? Again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just it's gonna be a lot of the 3DS games, the stuff that we saw at the Direct, the unannounced games, which will probably be Monster Hunter Stories or something else from Capcom, something else from Square, or whatever. That Square may actually, I think Square might port Bravely Second to the Switch because it would be easy to take that game and make it a one-screen experience. And even if Square said something, because Nintendo didn't say it's unannounced, but that Square hasn't said anything. But I think that might be a thing that they show.
Oh, Re-Legend will have to be one of those quote unquote unannounced titles. It's gonna have to be. I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Because we have to look at the ecosystem that Nintendo is building. That's one of the reasons. Like again, you're not going to see a Smash Brothers announcement. Why? Because we have Street Fighter and we have ARMS coming out. There's enough fighting games out there right now. They're not going to
Yeah, but now that they said Pokken Tournament, they're going to count that as the fighting game, right? So that's going to have to do for a while. And they're going to need to get their online sorted before you get Smash any big thing. Like Splatoon is fine like that. They needed that in the summer, and with the open network they have going right now. But they need to get their online sorted before you start adding anything else to it.
Yeah, I don't know if you're even going to see Smash before holiday of this year. I would guess you might see it March of next year.
That hasn't even been talked about at all.
Yeah. I think Mario is going to be the holiday thing. Smash will be next year.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get any word about the online at all during E3?
No, whatever they told you with the $20 a year, that's it. They're not going to say anything till the fall. I guarantee it.
Yeah, because they pushed it back to 2018, so that's essentially them just buying time.
Yeah.
But again, like, what are we talking about with the online? Because like Mario Kart Online, it works fairly well. Street Fighter Online kind of works.
Well, Smash Brothers is notorious for being poor online. Like, Brawl was unplayable. The Wii U one was better, but like they don't live up to the quality like Street Fighter has online or Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's netcode is like immaculate, So
is that what it is? Clean netcode? Like, so why can they do it with Splatoon, but they wouldn't be able to do it with Smash?
I don't know.
It's a different team.
Honestly, the Mario Kart guys, they know what they're doing. That's all I can say. They never get it wrong, and Smash never gets it right. I don't know why. Sakurai's guys aren't the same guys, so I don't know if it's like they don't understand how to do their netcode properly and they keep trying and they keep missing the ball. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, not every development team's built the same.
Right. But I know the Mario Kart guys, they got their netcode solid, right? They have no problems. They never do. Smash Brothers always has problems.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess my next question is like, and maybe I've just had my head buried in the sand. When everybody's talking about Nintendo's online, like nobody's really waiting for them to charge us for online, and we still have access to the online features of games as they would be when Nintendo Online releases. So what are we really waiting for with Nintendo Online release, except the idea that it's probably going to come with Virtual Console or be released alongside Virtual Console?
We're waiting for the ecosystem. We want to see what that's all about.
Yeah, I think with the online, the idea is like Splatoon and stuff is open now, but only because they let you do it. And there's no reason for those games not to be open right now, since they're mostly peer-to-peer or on a simple a server network that's just like kind of like a torrent. You know, it's not doing anything heavy. But once they start the pay cycle, then they're gonna gate stuff, right? And
Oh yeah,
that's
so why are people excited about online?
I don't know. Other than VC, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I get that they're like, well, online is probably going to release alongside Virtual Console, and but nobody said that. That's a wild assumption. And B, oh no, we get more free online, and when we do get it, it's not going to cost that much. Like, I'm not in any rush for Nintendo's online service to get here because it's not really going to do anything that I don't already have now, except I'm going to pay for it and supposedly you'll get some free games along with it. Sure, that's great. That's kind of standard fare. We don't know what those games are going to be yet. So if anybody can answer me, like, why people are waiting and excited for Nintendo's online service, like, please fucking explain this shit to me, because I don't get it.
The expectations that they're going to be able to get GameCube games on it, and there's going to be N64
that's again fan theory.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's it.
Well, that's Virtual Console though. Like, they're not going to give you mainline games for free. Like, those are going to be the games that they're going to sell.
When they promote Balloon Fight as one of the first games you're gonna get, then you ain't getting mainline games.
Yeah,
that's pretty obvious.
Balloon
Fight, they did have Super Mario 3 on there, as I remember.
Yeah, Super Mario, dude. Super Mario Bros. 3 could run in a smart fridge right now. Like, there's no reason not to have it. Like, it's like it's like a business card at this point. It's like this is like one of the epitomes of Nintendo, right? But like the other things with Dr. Mario and Balloon Fight, I'm like, are you serious? Why aren't you giving away World or Link to the Past or anything like that?
I mean, when we were kids, we weren't clamoring to play fucking Balloon Fight. Who fucking cares about that? But anyway, man, let's move on. Now we're just gonna do some general predictions or whatever for the other companies. Ubisoft, Square-Enix, whatever you guys want to throw in there. Manny, what about your favorite, Konami? What do you expect them to be doing at this year's E3?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be pushing Metal Gear Survive.
Oh, you think we're actually going to think? We haven't heard shit about that game.
I'm sure they're gonna be doing something with that. I don't know exactly.
Do you care?
I'm not excited about Metal Gear Survive. I'm not into survival games, and I really don't like the online play of Metal Gear Solid 5, because I feel like it kind of goes against all of what Metal Gear kind of is. Metal Gear is about infiltration and all that other stuff. What is online play? It's mostly everybody runs in a room and shoots the shit out of each other until the time runs out. Right?
Basically. For Konami, I could definitely predict Pez will be shown. That's like perennial for them.
I think Pez is going to be there, and I don't know what else is going to be there, but I definitely feel like Metal Gear Survive is going to have something.
That's going to be big because we haven't heard anything about that game in a long time.
The thing is, they've been like, it's been a year. They announced that thing last year at Tokyo Game Show. They have to show something now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that'll be interesting because again, we haven't heard from it in a while.
They just showed us that little bit of game. They showed us the trailer and they showed that little bit of gameplay, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, what about EA? Do you guys what are they going to be showing? Like Battlefront, FIFA, and a bunch of other sports games.
Oh wait, didn't they say something new?
They're going to run Pele out there.
They got Pele. They're going to interview him again, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, Adam, we talk about EA, man. What do you expect?
I think a lot of the sport games. I'm hoping. I mean, everybody knows this shit, but I'm hoping that whole BS of we're not really doing a skate game, that's going to be their hidden one. They're going to announce that, or at least bring back NBA Street, because they can't seem to make a good NBA game. That's already been done by 2K, so it's like, just give people what they also want, which is street ball. Everybody loves street ball, so just give us street. That's it. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really see what else they can. Yeah, we know about the Battlefront and we know about the sports, but unless they have something hidden up their sleeve, I mean, there's only one studio, I think. No, wait, sorry, shit. They just said they were going to announce eight new titles. That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. They said 8 new titles, unannounced titles.
Yeah, remember, EA's going to be having their own conference too. So
yeah. So what am I fucking talking about? Yeah, they're going to announce all kinds of weird shit. So hopefully it's fun stuff. But who knows? That might fall in 8 under. Maybe that's a bunch of fucking VR. Maybe they're going in that direction. We don't know. That could be anything. That could be mobile. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Who's publishing the South Park game?
Isn't it Ubisoft?
Okay, so that will be there for them.
Yeah, for Ubisoft, they'll have that. Assassin's Creed. We're finally
of course,
getting
Far Cry 5.
Yeah,
More
Far Cry 5.
stuff.
This is probably not going to happen, but I fucking please, Rayman. Can we get some Rayman? And like Adam said earlier, Splinter Cell, bring that shit back.
Yeah. No, I think that will. I have a feel in my bones they're going to bring Splinter Cell back. Well, Shadow of Mordor is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah, where's Warner Brothers? They're bringing. You know that's going to be there.
Yeah, Shadow of War will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow War's going to be there.
What about Project Session?
What's that?
The rumored skate game being in development.
Oh, Adam was just talking about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping that.
I want a new skate game so bad. I don't even care if it's Skate, Tony Hawk, fucking whatever.
I know.
Whatchamacallit? Totally blanking out right now.
They're going to bring back aggressive inline.
I totally forgot. I totally forgot.
Aggressive inline.
Shit, I knew that thing was dead when the X Games removed it. When the X Games says, you know what, no more aggressive inline, I'm like, yeah, and no more games.
Well, no, the thing is that also EA did also, they also did buy, Activision also did buy the company that made aggressive inline and kind of just squashed them.
Fuck, what the hell was it? Oh well. Anyway, EA, Ubisoft, I don't know, some other shit.
EA is going to talk about all their Star Wars. I think that 8 out of those 8.
Oh yeah,
games,
Need for Speed. They announced a new Need for Speed, so we're gonna see that shit.
Yeah. So you see that, you'll see the 4 or 5 Star Wars games they have in production.
Maybe
Battlefront 2,
Yeah,
the one by Amy Hennig.
Do you think we're gonna get the Amy Hennig game? That's the shit I want.
The Amy Hennig game, yeah, absolutely. I really feel that's going to be shown.
I hope so, because this is like, okay, because they don't have a new Mass Effect. They pretty much shelved all that. Dragon Age, who the fuck knows? So they need those big, heavy story games, right? And supposedly the Amy Hennig game is going to be based on story and stuff. What about the Jade Raymond game? She's working on one too. You know, everybody's working on a fucking Star Wars game over there.
Yeah, it'll depend on the stage it's in. The Amy Hennig game, I think, will get a lot of time. The other one may get a little time. I don't know what stage of completeness they're in, you know. Yeah.
But yeah, man. What else is gonna? Oh yeah, Annie. Here's another one for you, man, and Chris too. Any Castlevania?
That'd be crazy.
I don't think Castlevania is going to happen, but I do think that trailer did bring a lot of interest into the Castlevania, for the animated show.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Bring a lot of interest into the Castlevania line.
Ooh. I totally forgot about Bethesda. Have you guys heard all the Bethesda possibilities?
Yeah. So Brett, enlighten us, because I'm like, what the hell could Bethesda possibly have?
I don't know. A little game called Elder Scrolls.
You think they're finally going to have 6 there?
Here's the thing. There's usually a pretty solid development cycle between Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and it's not. They're usually being developed in parallel with assets being shared between them. So now that all of the DLC for Fallout has been done for a while, you have to ask what they've put these teams on, and most likely they didn't break them up to put them on other things. They like to keep the open world team. Like they'll transfer people from Fallout to Elder Scrolls and back and forth, but they like to kind of have that core team of players developing that game because it helps evolve it. So they are working on an Elder Scrolls. They have been working on an Elder Scrolls for most likely 3 to 4 years now. And they are sharing assets with the new Fallout that just came out, or the most recent Fallout. And that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago, yeah.
So development time would indicate it's time for the announcement of a new Elder Scrolls game. And don't get me wrong, the last Elder Scrolls game is Skyrim. It's still fucking going strong, but it's starting to lose steam, and it's starting to hit a kind of dilution. So it'd be about time for them to bring up something again. But here's the other thing that I've heard rumors about, and again, this could be just my VR going on, but there have been rumors of both Doom and Fallout VR being developed by Bethesda.
I did hear the rumors about Doom VR. I
Yeah.
think that's a definite possibility.
Doom was one of
It's
the first games that was actually, when John Cormack first saw VR, they put it on Doom. It was one of the ideas upon which VR was developed. So I would be shocked if you didn't see a VR Doom, and I would be shocked if my ass wasn't on that like white on fucking rice. Because like the first time I saw it, and I even remember raving about it on the podcast, I was like, there's not a cover mechanic. They just leaned around a corner and fucking shot somebody. And it was the most mind-blowing experience of my life to see the Horizon actually go on a shift tilt, not in a cinematic mode. And that instant where I was like, oh, fucking VR, I am on board. So if I have that reaction, getting that experience into everybody's hands is going to be pretty pivotal. And Doom has been one of the main players in that whole idea from inception. So you will, if not now, you will see a Doom VR. Absolutely. And Fallout VR has been being asked about. And let's be honest, the modding community has had Skyrim, hack job put together into a pretty decent VR experience for at least the last year and a half. And they're making great headway on breaking into Fallout. So it would be very advantageous of Bethesda to get ahead of the curve on this one and actually monetize it instead of doing what they usually. And again, this is still kind of normal for them. They let the community do something, wait for it to catch on. They're like, hey, we can monetize this. The mods were a perfect example. So there's incentive for them to push this, even using just some of the fucking assets being brought up by the mod community. So it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Everybody's asking for it. Great way to make money. So I'm not saying like Bethesda's our best friend, so they're going to do this. I'm saying it makes logical business sense for them to kind of answer what the community wants. And Bethesda is one of those communities that actually does listen. With when Skyrim came out, they actually had sat down and said the two main things everybody asks for in our games are multiplayer and dragons. We're gonna do dragons. So they might eventually even add and I would love to see the companion system of Elder Scrolls replaced with the ability to kind of like a Fable type situation where somebody can jump into your game, you can meet them in an inn and hire them as a companion, and they can run around the world with you. Does it not like GTA Online, but the ability to be one player into your game, like the first GTA Online experience. So I wouldn't actually be surprised, although I'm not holding my breath, for a multiplayer Bethesda experience, especially since they're still pushing their MMO, but that's honestly not going very well. A lot of that is
Elder Scrolls, right?
Elder Scrolls Online. Morrowind is their latest iteration, but its business model is all out of whack. It's not making a lot of money, and it's not really. I don't think it's building enough revenue or interest in the series for it to exclude the. They're not going to make another Elder Scrolls game because they want to push off their audience onto the Elder Scrolls MMO, because they realize it's not the same audience, that it's not the same game, and people play an Elder Scrolls game because they want to go everywhere and do anything and talk to anything and impact the world. You can't do that in an MMO due to its natural limitations. So I don't think that they're going to hold back on it. So with all of this being said, there's no reason for them not to announce a new Elder Scrolls. There's most likely been one in development. It is probably far enough along for them to announce it, and that it would be best to start keeping this in people's mind, before people, just keep reskinning Skyrim. Like, you don't want Skyrim to become this big standard fucking default thing that it has and stay that way. You want to be able to pull people away from the Skyrim into the next iteration. So I'm hoping that they'll announce it. Bethesda has been good enough, though, about not announcing things too far ahead of their release date. That's one of the things that a lot of people kind of love about them, is they're not like, oh, in 9 years this game is coming out. They'll say usually at the most a year from release, at least lately in their lifespan. So we may or may not see an Elder Scrolls game, but either way, there's one in development, so I wouldn't be surprised if it were announced. But I would absolutely love to hear them bring up, and I would expect them to bring up Doom VR, and then a slightly less chance of Fallout VR, because
what about a new Wolfenstein?
Well, we know that's a given.
Yeah,
that shit was the last game was fucking awesome.
There's definitely another one of those.
What about the new sci-fi one that they said they were working on? That it's sort of like a Mass Effect.
Really?
I don't think that's far enough in development for.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's not that. We're not going to get anything from that, you know.
Yeah, again, they don't announce until they're pretty much ready for release. So the four big things that I see that they have the assets and the ability to release in the next year would be, new Wolfenstein, Doom VR, Fallout VR, new Elder Scrolls game. And if they actually announced all four of those, they would fucking kill E3.
Yeah, people already saying they won E3 without even starting. All right, move on to other shit. Sega, right? You know what I want? I want that Sonic Mania, man. Ooh, I can't.
Oh, we're getting that Sonic Mania.
I can't wait. That's gonna be fucking insane. And they got some. Here's the thing, because I keep forgetting, Atlas and Sega are like the same thing now. So they're gonna have a big booth for all their games and stuff. You know, I got the email. It's like, oh yeah, it said Sega and Atlas. I'm like, oh shit. So I look at all the games. I'm like, okay, that's the Atlas side. What about the Sega side?
That
shit. You know, so that's gonna be cool. Oh, and also, go ahead, Brendan. I want to talk about Warner Brothers real quick.
Are we ever gonna see another Power Stone game?
Probably not. That's Capcom.
That's
Probably
Capcom,
not.
and
The
I'm waiting for a Project Justice game. There you go.
Yeah, you know. But yeah,
like the other question is when are you going to see Deep Down?
Deep down, you know,
never.
You know, deep down that's dead.
Yeah, I'm forgetting what Warner Bros. is gonna. I know they're gonna have Shadow War, but beyond that,
there was rumors of another Batman game, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
About the Turtles,
Injustice, I guess they could have something, you know, like DLC or whatever. With Turtles,
Did they really show DLC on the show?
They've done it. They've done it before.
Now, dude, it's all gonna be Shadow of Mordor. There's going to be a long extended Shadow of Mordor, and then maybe another small. They're not really a heavy hitting studio that comes out with a lot of games simultaneously, and we all know what their next big project is.
They used to, like, remember that one year, like I had a appointment. They showed me 4 games in a row. It was like Witcher, fucking the original Shadow of Mordor, and like 2 other games. Like, damn, you guys are crazy.
Wait a minute, they publish. They're the ones that publish Witcher.
Yeah. We've argued about this a bunch of times, you know.
CD Projekt Red is working on Cyberpunk 2077, and that is absolutely, definitely not ready for release because they just had an old build stolen from them, and are basically being blackmailed, and they're not giving in to the blackmail. So they've actually put out a statement that says anything that is not coming from CD Projekt Red about Cyberpunk 2077, do not believe it. We will announce it when the time is right, and that time is not right now. So you can feel pretty confident that they're not bringing that game
coming out anytime soon.
Yeah.
The reason I'm talking Warner Bros. Is because literally I have an hour and a half appointment with them. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna show me for that much?
Yeah. For an hour and a half. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo,
it can't be an hour and a half of Shadow of War.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
you know?
What, a Justice League game, maybe?
Well, no, Injustice is already out there. I'm expecting.
No. I know. I imagine we would have heard this if it were being developed, but you'd think that they'd be trying to build something alongside this movie franchise besides Injustice, right?
We would have heard about that. We would have heard of something.
Yeah, unless they kept it really under wraps. Like the rumors about the Batman game, they may have had Rocksteady working on another DC hero. I always thought they were going to make a Superman game.
Yeah, that's what I thought, you know. But who knows? By the way, I completely forgot to bring up if we're going to see Detroit at the Sony joint. You know?
I would think so. Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't. I haven't heard much about that game, and honestly,
that's what I'm saying. Like, where the fuck is that game? You know.
Well, also, the last couple have been like a mixed bag. Like, I know that they're a good and liked series of games. Like, they've got a cult following, but they never really reached like mass appeal, did they?
No, they never did. But you know that they're not really a studio like that. You know. But
well, that's what I'm saying. So
Heavy Rain and Beyond. What happened?
Would we hear a lot of news? I mean, like, we generally don't hear a lot of rumors and news about niche games.
Yeah, that's true. So who knows? But I would like to see something, you know. What else is going to be at E3? I mean, what do you guys think? Like, you know, just random small shit too.
I wonder what everybody thinks Square-Enix is going to do.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Square-Enix.
More excited for Ubisoft.
Final Fantasy 12, they're going to show off a lot. I guarantee that. Don't expect any Kingdom Hearts shit.
Wait, Final Fantasy 12?
Yeah, the remaster is coming out. They've been promoting the fuck out of that. Now I'm pretty sure they're going to show it for real.
Wait,
you know?
was 12? Oh yeah. You're right.
The Gambit system,
you're right.
You know?
Yeah, took me a
The one
little
system
bit.
that everybody hated. More
I
so
didn't
than
really-
PS2.
everybody
Who,
liked
hate,
it.
who hated PS2?
No, he said the Gambit system.
Okay, yeah.
I thought most people liked the Gambit. I love the
No,
Gambit
people
system.
did not like the Gambit system.
Well, I guess
No,
it
I didn't
depends on who you
like
talk to
it.
because everybody I talk to is like, oh my god, it's fucking amazing. You know, it depends, but yeah. So that's going to be shown.
They're gonna promote 14 because they just had did that add-on.
That's
Stormblood
right.
or
Yeah.
whatever,
They're gonna
so
have
they're gonna talk about
14.
that shit.
No hit, man. Fucking bullshit. Ooh, do you think we're gonna get that new Tomb Raider? The Shadow of the Tomb Raider is supposed to be called.
I keep forgetting they have Tomb Raider.
Yeah, they have Tomb Raider. That would be a good show if they just
Well,
like, hey, here's
supposedly there's
fucking
something else coming out with Hitman. Hitman's not done.
Well, they're gonna sell off IO.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
No, but something for the game itself. They said
Oh, yeah, they're probably gonna have something else, you know. So maybe that, you know. But yeah, I'm thinking about, I want that Tomb Raider, man. Let's go, you know. That'd be good.
Am I the only one that thinks that they're gonna lean in heavy with? And I realize I've brought this up several times, but nobody else talked about it. Am I the only one that thinks they're gonna lean pretty heavily on this Re-Legends game, or is that just gonna be a minor title in their showing?
Wait, which one?
The Re-Legends.
I don't even know what Re-Legends is. I'm just being honest.
Re-Legends is a game that they casually announced for the Switch very briefly, and apparently what it is you have a town. You have a town where you can like grow crops or collect items, mine materials, use those to like make potions and build weapons. So it's part farming / town building simulator a la Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
then
that sounds really fucking boring.
I'm not done.
But
Then you have the ability to take those weapons that you've made from your harvesting simulator and join other players in up to a 4-player party to go dungeon crawling with the materials that you've made from home. So it's not only this kind of quasi farming life simulator, but it's also a dungeon crawler, both of which, like I said, aren't necessarily our cup of tea for the most part. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Stardew Valley. Never got into Harvest Moon. And I liked Animal Crossing way back in the day, but I haven't played it for probably 15 years. So I'm probably the one that's most on board for that. But even with that being said, like, a lot of people love that shit. Harvest Moon is a heavy hitting game. Stardew Valley was a sleeper success. So do you think that that's going to garner a lot of media attention, or do you think that's just going to fly under the radar?
Probably under the radar, to be honest. Like, you know,
because they've been talking so much about it. And the only reason I think that there might be credence to this is because they've been talking more than they about support.
Wait, what happened? You cut off a little bit there.
I think that have something that they think is going to be financially successful.
I think, you know, speaking about Square-Enix and Switch, they're probably going to show off more of that game. They have a title for it now, but it didn't have a title when they first announced it. I think they're going to finally have that, you know, ready. Shit. But yeah, that would be good. Again, I'm losing my train of thought. There's a bunch of shit. Manny, I wanted to ask you something, but I totally forgot. It was something specifically to you. It wasn't Konami. Oh well, I don't know stuff. This is what happens when your brain, because I'm trying to do a bunch of different things for E3 here. But yeah, Switch, the Square Enix game. I hope so. What about who makes Xenoblade? What company makes that?
Project No Thrill. Who cares? I never liked that.
Well, that's probably coming, you know. But anyway, since
There's only one studio that I'm looking forward to, and I'm always looking forward to every year because they always give us a surprise, and that's Ubisoft. Think about it. For the past few years, there's always a surprise hit, like before they did The Division, and then before that, you know, they had their own, and then they did. They always have one game that they released the day of. Remember, it was it was like
what's going to be this year's For Honor?
Dragons one. Yeah, you know what I mean, there's always something. So I'm always looking forward to their showings.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to something we're going to add new to this segment. crazy speculations. Let's have some fun. Like, what is the craziest thing that you think could happen at E3? No holds barred.
Craziest thing. They announced for Microsoft, they announced that all their original Xbox games were going to be added to the backward compatibility list.
Oh shit, the first Xbox.
Yeah, the first Xbox. That would be crazy. If they
Manny, what do you think? Crazy
crazy things.
Your crazy speculation, yeah.
New Castlevania game.
A new Castlevania game. That'd be
New Castlevania game.
With Igarashi doing it. He came back.
Yeah, he came back.
Right, Chris, crazy speculation.
New Castlevania game from Konami. I doubt them so hard that I would be shocked. I think my eyes would pop out if they actually made something that we wanted.
Yeah, Brian, what you got?
And this is gonna be like a wild one. Microsoft to make exclusive games.
Oh, man.
It's so crazy.
I know, man. What the hell? No, but honestly, either PlayStation 5 because it's just like it's out of the left field, or Microsoft Handheld.
Could you imagine that?
Seriously, just going out there because screw it. Because why not?
The Zoom too, right?
No, not even the Zoom. The Surface, like the Surface Mobile, because I mean everything is now. You see, they're doing a Surface phone, so they're throwing that Surface logo on everything.
So yeah, what you do is you just make two little things and stick it on the side, and yeah, then you have your Surface gaming.
That'd be funny. All right, Brett. Crazy speculation.
Reggie somehow comes out, and I don't want to punch him in the face.
Okay, fair enough.
Damn.
I'm sorry, I just fucking can't stand that guy.
I don't think he can stand himself, to be honest.
You think he looks in the mirror and just goes, "Motherfucker"?
My crazy speculation is Half-Life 3.
I thought you were gonna say the Vita, man.
No. My crazy speculation is the Switch Mini. That's my crazy speculation. Like it's actually one system, not unlockable or any of that shit. That's what they'll do. Like, oh, we also have this Switch Mini for you guys. That'd be hilarious. Oh yeah. By the way, Brett, you want to talk about the Final Fantasy remake, right? Going back to Square-Enix.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna see something on the Final Fantasy remake. I don't really care anymore, but
yeah, Fan and Bash goes crazy. Think Sony announces PSN name change.
Even like they did last time.
That'd be nice,
Well, wasn't it called like the Sony Network?
That's what I wanted to ask you, Manny. Okay, because we know Death Stranding is not going to be shown, right? But Kojima is going to be in the building. What is he there for?
Hang out with celebrities. The dude loves hanging out with celebrities.
Here's the thing. I believe that Kojima is here right now doing motion capture because of the time frames of his tweets. His tweets usually come at Japanese time, but all the ones recently, they're all coming at like LA time frames. Midday, 12 o'clock, stuff like that. So I think he's here doing like motion capture stuff. Here's the thing. Last year he said he wasn't gonna show anything, and he did. So I don't think it's gonna have the same vehicle as it did last time, but
Yeah, here's another crazy speculation. Not going to happen, obviously. Platinum Games renames itself Clover Studios.
Yes.
By the way, it's Hideki Kamiya. Is he going to be at the show?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Well, there's a crazy one. Hideki Kamiya comes out and shakes hands with Phil Spencer.
You shit.
They hug. Kiss on double cheek.
They squashed that shit on stage, and he announces Scalebound is back.
Scalebound is back.
Or they pull the April Fools.
Then he
throw you off.
That's just Hideki Kamiya. Keiji Inafune. Like, I'm sorry for talking all that shit. You're not a horrible person. Oh yeah, what about the PC gamer thing, Brian? What do you expect to see out of that conference, man? Give Brian a little chance here. Stop playing Warframe.
I'm not playing Warframe. I'm actually playing Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor.
It's not your story.
Yeah, what do you expect from the PC gamer show, man?
Lots of games that probably most of us have not heard about because that's what they tend to do.
I hope so.
No, it's like the stuff there is like, oh, you like Warhammer? Like, here's that new Warhammer game. I'm like, I've never heard of this game before. Yeah, so just a whole bunch of like odd titles. Lots of actual games being shown, games being talked about, like no fancy stuff. They're just like, hey, here's some games. Um,
Talking about some hardware stuff.
yeah, like I'm sure that AMD will be there to talk about the Vega stuff because AMD.
I mean, there's not a lot of surprises with PCs because
No.
they're pretty well into the idea of early access and early development and transparency. So everybody kind of knows from the second somebody's like, I have an idea for a game, and they crowdfund it and then early access it, and you literally get to see every iteration that it comes through, which is fucking painful, I will tell you. But we pretty much know everything that's in development because you almost have early access to all of it, right?
Not yeah, it's half and half. It's like you kind of know what's coming because they always like tell you like in advance. So it's always like, hey, we're making this type of game. It's like, okay, cool. It's coming out when? At some point in time. So
we're going to be entering early alpha build 1 sometime in 2018, and you're like, okay, that's
Elite Dangerous. No, not Elite Dangerous. Star.
I was about to say Star Citizen. Is it finally going to see it? That's my wild speculation.
We're going to see something about it. Whether it's a new trailer or new announcement, or we're going to turn around and like, hey, we added this new module to the game that's not coming out ever. Yeah. I don't expect anything much, but I do expect it just to be like the purest of the pure in terms of like just no bullshit. Like no sales talk, no nonsense about gamer engagement. No, just like, hey, you came in to see games? Here's like an hour and a half of just games, and that's it. So it's gonna be the most dull and unexciting, but definitely the one targeted for gamers the most, and not like to reviewers and shareholders and
celebrities and all that. Yeah.
I know Joel McHale.
Yes.
Oh man, that's pissed me off so much. He was so bad.
Horrible. By the way, just quickly, I'm looking at what Sega's going to be showing. Yeah, Yakuza 6 and Kiwami. So pretty cool. Sonic Mania, and we'll see Sonic Forces. They're going to have that. And then some 3DS games: Etrian Odyssey 5, Radiant Historia, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux, and Total Warhammer. By the way, yeah, that's what it should be called. By the way, it should be called Total Warhammer, not Total Warhammer. It's like, come on, it doesn't flow, man. Total Warhammer. I think that's going to pretty much do it for this show here. So let us give you an update of what's coming up on Throwdowns. Right. So again, no throw down your questions this Sunday because that would be stupid. It's like you guys are going to ask us a bunch of shit about E3 and then it's going to come true the next day. So no point in that, But we will be having some, some shit. But let me finish up here. So yeah, wait until E3 is over, right? Wait until the whole thing's over, on Thursday. Then you can ask those questions in the comment section of episode 136 and keep it all E3, please, because we're going to have the throw down your questions E3 post special or whatever. So, any questions that aren't about E3, we'll save them for another time, So that's going to air on June 18th. So keep that in mind. No throwing your questions this Sunday, but on Sunday, we will be having a throwdown. Manny and I, we're going to be doing, it's a little bit ambitious too. So we're going to be doing shit every night starting Saturday.
Yes.
Get crazy. As you see Manny set up there, we're going to be using that out there. And the only thing is, it's a reverse of what happened last year. Last year, we were only able to do MP3 versions of the shows because, we were able to edit shit. Can't do that this year, so it's going to be streaming. So you MP3 guys, just please head over to the Throwdown YouTube. Check us out there, and I will upload all those audio files on the weekend when I get back. But during the week, go to the YouTube channel and just have it in the background or something. You
can compare and contrast with what we
that's what they look like. Oh yeah, and also another little announcement. So for those shows, it's going to be me, Manny, and an announcement, Mr. Anthony Nash, who's going to be our roommate, So that'll be pretty fun, having Nash in there, talking about Nintendos and all that. So yeah, Saturday we're gonna be doing basically Saturday. The reason we're doing a show on Saturday is kind of a test, just to see how it all works, you know.
Yes.
But we're also gonna talk because EA happened that day, so we'll probably just hear about it through the grapevine and then give you our thoughts. So then Sunday is gonna be our thoughts on Microsoft. Monday will be our thoughts on Sony, and then Tuesday through Thursday is gonna be whatever fun we had that day. We'll break down. You know, it should be pretty cool. So yeah, again, all that shit is gonna be on the YouTube channel. MP3 guys, please just head over there, you know. So I'll be that. It's going to be very interesting. We'll see how this E3 turns out, man. So that's going to do it for us. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later. Soon Tony will be in LA.
Yeah. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Brett Murdoch.
It's been real, everybody.
Adam Vale.
Keep watching Lucha.
And Brian Manjoma.
And as a final and crazy prediction, I predict that we will see gameplay of the new Call of Duty game.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. That's impossible. All right, guys. Later.
Later, guys.
Deuces.